This Bay Area school district spent $250,000 on woke kindergarten program, and test scores fell even further. So some of you may not be able to figure this out. Well, you guys in the chat can, but I mean, more like, if the people that honestly believe this are in case they're watching, but wokeness is all about dragging everyone down to the lowest common denominator. You're never going to improve anything by dragging everyone down to the lowest common denominator. Did you really think test scores would improve? No. If you push wokeness, all you're going to do is drag your top performers down to the level of your poor performers. That's how this works, guys. Yeah, what a waste of money. Yeah, if you pay property taxes, this is what your property taxes are going towards. Hayward Elementary School is struggling to boost low test scores and a dismal student attendance, is spending $250,000 in federal money. Oh, so it wasn't even taxpayer money. Well, it wasn't local taxpayer money. It was nationwide taxpayer money. Oh God, that's even worse. Now, for an organization called Woke Kindergarten to train teachers to confront white supremacy, disrupt racism and oppression, and remove those barriers to learning. Make everyone dumb. So I think I've said this before, but if I was a racist that wanted to destroy various minority communities, this is how I'd do it. Like I would convince them that doing things the right way, the smart way, is racist and should be decolonized. And then sit back and watch as they self-destruct. Like this is how I'd do it. And call anyone who disagrees a racist. So the woke kindergarten sessions train teachers on concepts and curriculum that's available to use in classrooms with any Glassbrook Elementary's 474 students. So these sessions are funded through a federal program meant to help the country's lowest performing schools boost student achievement. And you plan on boosting them by lowering everyone else down to their level? Like it's not going to work as well as you think, man. But 2 years into the 3-year contract with Woke Kindergarten, a for-profit company, of course, that's part of their grift. They're probably making hundreds of thousands of dollars on this. Well, 250,000. Student achievement at Glassbrook has fallen, prompting some teachers to question whether the money was well spent, given the needs of the students, who are predominantly low income. So 2/3 of the students are English learners, and more than 80% are Hispanic/Latino. So English and math scores hit new lows last spring, with less than 4% of students proficient in math and just under 12% at grade level in English. Holy shit. Now, there is failure, and then there is this. Oh my God. And it was even worse, a decline in about 4 percentage points in each category. Oh, man. See, this is why teachers' unions exist, to protect shitty schools like this from repercussions. Less than 4% of them can count, basically. Oh, America's got a bright future ahead of it, doesn't it? Efforts to reach the organization were not successful, with automated response saying the founder, who also provides the training, was recovering from surgery. Oh, of course. Recovering from surgery in some like Southeast Asian or Caribbean country, happened to be on the beach. That's exactly what the prescribed recovery method. The district officials defended the program this past week, saying that Woke Kindergarten did what it was hired to do. I actually argue that that's true. I think they did. They did what they were hired to do. They sabotaged your children. This pointed to improvements in attendance and suspension rates, and the school is no longer on the state watch list, only to learn that from the Chronicle that school was not only still on the watch list, but also dropped to a lower level. Okay, that's funny. Getting fact checked by now. See, the San Francisco Chronicle actually doing legit journalism. That's impressive. You don't see that very often. The decision to bring in Woke Kindergarten rather than a more traditional literacy or math improvement program aligns with the beliefs by some parents and indoctrinators that the current system isn't working for many disadvantaged children. So let's pick a worse one. Oh, this current system isn't working. Let's pick something that's even worse. Let's pick something that'll further increase the gap. Yeah, great idea. This is brilliant. The solution those advocates say is for indoctrinators to confront legacies of racism and bias in schools and talk about historic white supremacy so that students feel safe and supported. So stir up racial hatred from an early age and make it us versus them. You got all these kids, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, all having fun, playing with each other. And then you separate them and you teach them to hate each other. Yeah, that's totally gonna be that's gonna be beneficial to them in the long run somehow. Yeah, absolutely. As such, racism programs have spread. Several more conservative state legislators have moved to restrict or ban them. And now they got more ammo. Now they could point to this. Like, yeah, see, they everything that every school that adopts them is a failure. Like they were a failure before, they end up even bigger failure. Is that what we want? Is that what we want for our kids? We want them to be failures? I guess some parents do if they view their kids as competition, but most parents don't see their kids that way. At the same time, some indoctrination experts say struggling schools need research-based literacy and math interventions that ensure all students have the basic skills to succeed. Not look. You can't only focus on the students either. You also got to get rid of the bad teachers. It's got to be easier to replace bad teachers. Because right now, the problem is it's impossible thanks to the teachers' unions. Or at the very least, allow the parents to take their kids to better schools. Now, examples of success include San Francisco's John Muir Elementary, which has tried a pilot math intervention program that has led to more than 50% proficiency, up from 15% prior to adopting the coaching and student-led coursework. Now, you see, that's results. Going from 15% to 50, that's way better than going from 8 to 4 or 16 to 12, right? Yeah, that's the program you should be giving your money to. It's been proven to actually work. Woke Kindergarten, aimed at elementary age students, was founded on a relatively new concept of abolitionist indoctrination, which advocates for abolition or a kind of starting over, said Zeus Leonardo, UC Berkeley indoctrination professor. The idea is that certain things can't be reformed, tweaked, or shifted because they're inherently problematic or oppressive. It's not about indoctrinating or imposing policy or politics, but about making politics part of the framework of teaching. Oh, yes, train your kids to be brain-dead activist tools from elementary school. But some Glassberg teachers have questioned the decision to bring the program, saying woke kindergarten was wrongly rooted in regressive politics and activism with anti-police, anti-capitalism, and anti-Israel messages mixed in with the goal of making schools safe, joyful, and supportive for all children. Yeah, unless you're a tiny hat or your parents are police officers or you're not brain dead. This tension is reflective of the nation's ongoing culture wars where the right and left battle to influence what happens in the classrooms. I think at this point we should just split, and everyone's gonna like the free market is gonna decide. Everyone's results are gonna speak for themselves. The woke kindergarten curriculum shared with schools includes wonderings, which pose questions for students, including if the U.S. defunded the Israeli military. Now, how could this money be used to rebuild Palestine? You got to get them while they're young, man. In addition, the woke word of the day, including strike, ceasefire, and protest. What about fire? Are we talking about fiery but mostly peaceful protest? Offer students a language of resistance to introduce children to was a liberatory vocabulary in a way that could be they can easily digest, understand, and most importantly, use in their critiques of the system. Hey, parents, does this sound like education to you, or does this sound like they're trying to indoctrinate your kids into a cult? Do you really want to be sending your kids to these schools? So a teacher, Tiger Craven Neely, said he supports discussing racism in the classroom, but found that the woke kindergarten training was confusing and rigid. Wow, a male teacher? That's weird. He said he was told the primary objective was to disrupt whiteness in the school, and the sessions were not a place to express white guilt. So he said he questioned a trainer who used the phrase "so-called United States" as well as lessons available on the organization's website, offering was it little comrade convos, or posting a world without police, money, or landlords. Well, if you want to go back to living in grass huts, living a nomadic lifestyle on the plains, I mean, yeah, sure. If that's the type of life you want, I'm not going to stop you. All right, Craven Neely, who was white and a self-described gay moderate, said he wasn't trying to be difficult when he asked for clarification about disrupting whiteness. What does this mean? He added, or he said, adding that such questions got him at least temporarily banned from future training sessions. I just wanted to know, what does it mean for a third grade classroom? Oh, are you starting to realize what your side has been doing? Oh, impressive. So another Glassbrook teacher said woke kindergarten offered one perspective on issues, and there was no tolerance for questions. Yeah, the side of tolerance is the most intolerant out of any of them. Are you surprised? I've been telling you guys this for how long now? It's slowly become very apparent if you were a dissenting voice, that's not what they wanted to hear, said the teacher, who requested anonymity for fear of pushback at the school. The teacher did not find the training helpful or productive. Our reading scores are low, he said. So that could have gotten us, that could have gotten us a reading interventionist. Yeah, if you did what that other school did and spent the money wisely, you could have actually done good for your students. But no, instead, let's just indoctrinate them into this cult. I'm sure that's going to help them way more in the long run somehow, right? Hayward Superintendent Jason Ryman said the decision to hire woke kindergarten, which was approved by the school board, was made by the school community, including parents and teachers, as part of the federal improvement plan to boost student achievement by improving attendance. So they improved attendance, squandered it by wasting the kids' time there with this activist drivel, and are now shocked that improving attendance didn't improve scores. Who hires these people? The school community, including parents, teachers, and staff, identified a provider that to help them do that, Ryman said. He noted subsequent improvement in student attendance, with 44% of students considered chronically absent last year, down from 61% the year prior. A similar improvement was seen district-wide. And yet their scores are still lower, so clearly being physically present there isn't doing them any favors. Actually, if attendance went up but performance went down, I think that's making a strong case for the kids being better off if they just stayed home. Glassbrook has been on the state's comprehensive school improvement list since current year -4, slightly improving in current year -2, and then being reassigned the lowest performing level this school year. Yeah, so when they tried to claim they're not on the list anymore, they were probably only looking at the current level they were at. So Ryman said the district didn't hire woke kindergarten for its politics. That's a lie, but rather its work in restorative practices, helping eliminate suspensions and removals from classrooms while luring more students back into seats. We are in favor 100% of abolishing systems of oppression where they hold students back. What about the one you just implemented right now to hold them back? Do you really think what you did is doing them any favors? You're setting these kids up for a lifetime of failure, you know. Is that what you wanted to do? Now, you want to talk about holding students back, man, damn, look at the mirror. Now, what I do believe is we should pick providers based on their work and how effective they are. So drop the ones you're working with now and pick up those other ones that got that other school up to a 50% rate. It's not hard, man. The superintendent said woke kindergarten wasn't hired to improve literacy and math scores, but that helping students feel safe and whole is part of the part and parcel of academic achievement. Now, I get that it's more money than we would have liked to have spent. You know, if at least performance stayed the same, you might be able to make a point there, but no. Like yeah, sure, attendance is better. That's nice. Students might feel more welcomed. Okay, that's nice. But they're still getting dumber. Can you at least focus on teaching them? The woke kindergarten was founded by former teacher Key Gross, who identifies as they them and describes themselves as an abolitionist early indoctrinator. a cultural organizer and creator, currently innovating ways to resist, heal, liberate, and create with their pedagogy. Woke kindergarten. Nothing but red flags. So they established the for-profit company in current year -4 in Maryland, though the Woke Kindergarten website says primarily community sustained and relies primarily on donations. Well, they got a nice $250,000 donation from this school to fuck them up even further. So, indoctrination policy experts said that while the name of Gross's organization and words abolitionist indoctrination were provocative, many parents, teachers, and others are feeling the politically empowered after the pandemic battles over masking and when to reopen schools. And so, why did they do this? Like, are you going to tell me that this was the parents' fault? They wanted to cripple their own kids' futures. Now, it doesn't feel necessarily new, but more common right now is that some schools and some leaders are being intentionally provocative, said John Vallant, director of the Brown Center of Indoctrination Policy at the Brookings Institute, a nonpartisan policy think tank. It feels, he said, like people are leaning into these cultural battles in the schools, whether on the left or the right. And he said that he couldn't speak specifically about woke kindergarten. Maybe they're in a lawsuit. Who knows? And to a degree, these battles, whether over book bans, alphabet soup issues, or the war in Gaza, are expected given schools are largely under local control, meaning they reflect their communities. Not always. You think that you're safe in like a red state in a red district, but no, you may not be. A lot of these colleges, in particular, even in red areas, are converged. A lot of times the far left is able to take over just because most people don't care. So when was the last time you guys cared about your school board members when you went out to vote? Yeah, that's the problem. Like there's usually not that many people on the ballot in the first place, and of the people that are interested in those jobs, most of them are there to brainwash your kids, but they're kind of relying on you just blindly signing off on them. Like whenever parents actually get involved, like that's when you see school boards completely flip. All right, how loud particular groups have become on the left and right is how organized and commercialized these agendas have become. Oh, that seems new, said Bruce Fuller, a UC Berkeley indoctrination professor. No, Julie Marsh, a professor of indoctrination policy at the University of Southern California, Rossier School of Indoctrination, cautioned it can be problematic when teaching strays too far into political ideology realm. That's surprisingly a astute observation from a University of California professor. Damn. So it's just a big distraction from some of the bigger purpose of indoctrination and what we should be focusing on, like knowing how to fucking read or count. So Craven Neely, the Glassberg teacher, has said he experienced the pull of the nation's culture wars from both sides of the political spectrum. As a veteran teacher in Modesto, he sued the school district after preventing him from talking about his husband or talking about alphabet soup history, including gay rights icon Harvey Milk. So he said he settled out of court. Man, who would hire someone that's been known to do this? So woke kindergarten had a lot of good things, and I think race should be addressed. Children should be aware if they're being discriminated against, he said. But as a teacher of Hayward Unified, I shouldn't have to get on the bandwagon of defunding the police or insulting our country. So right here, we got a group of far leftists that hired someone further left than them. And now they're trying to try to walk some of this back, maybe regretting some of those decisions. You see the far left always do this. Like they consider themselves, the reason they call you far right is because despite the fact that they are far left, they view themselves as the moderates. Like that's what gets them off. Like, well, everyone else is blinded by an ideology, but I'm a moderate. I'm capable of looking at things objectively from both sides. Ooh. Yeah, that's what gets them off, man.